Hi, everybody. Welcome to On Purpose Live this Thursday. I hope everybody's having a great week. Um, before you guys all started to join the room, Karsha and I were just having a conversation about just what she's doing with AI and what some other people are doing with AI. She's building out platforms and all this different stuff, and I just think it's so neat to see all the different things that you can build out with AI. And you, Karsha, I know I'm not going to share like everything that you were sharing before, but I just think it'd be cool for people who just entered to here. You said you did it through Gemini and you're using Google and has it all been free or are you a paid member of Gemini?
I am not a paid member of Gemini, but I do use Google Workplace or
Yeah.
Workspace, whatever it's called.
Hmm.
So Google Sites, that's free. And that's what I was using to build this out. And Gemini gave me the whole plan step by step, to the point it's like, this is what this icon looks like, press this. And so I just had, because I have two screens, so I had the instructions with Gemini on one screen and I was building it out on the other screen and it's taking me step by step. So I'm like, okay, I'm finished. That's what I typed in. And it would give me the next step. Okay, do this. So that's how I'm almost done. Like seriously, I just have to finish it today and I can publish the site and put it out to the
Girl,
agent.
that is amazing. I just think that is so cool. So Karsha is also an independent broker owner and she's making a site for her agents so that they can have an intranet. Um, but this is what I'm talking about. I told her, I said, I feel like we're in this age of deconstructing. Like a lot of us, we add different things to our business, that we're paying for these services, but they're not always exactly what we want, right? And so we end up having to fill gaps other places. I think that one of the coolest things about AI technology is if there's one particular thing that you like about a software and you're paying an exorbitant amount of money for that software, you could probably duplicate that thing for a very low cost and have built your own private AI, or built, I shouldn't say a private AI, built your own private AI built type website or system or whatever, and you don't even have to pay for those services anymore. I feel that way as an agent too. I just want one software that does all the things. But what I'm learning, Shannon, I was just telling Karsha this. I would say that as a broker, that was one of the things I was always looking for. It's like I want one thing that does it all, that does it all. But what I'm finding is when you get the one thing that does it all, it works great for a while, but they get lackadaisical about updating and keeping things fresh and new. And they tend to gravitate better in one area and let the other things go. And so then you're like, well, that's not working great for me anymore, or it's not staying, cutting edge anymore. So then you go out and try to find something to replace that part. And then you end up with three different things anyway. And so I was telling her I'm almost to the place where it's like I'd rather just either create my own things that I know like are the things I do consistently that don't require like, a lot of outside. It's mostly just for my own benefit. But then the things that I really want to hone in on, finding the leader in that part of the industry right now and going all in with that and this connecting things together because that way if something breaks inside of a system, like right now we use Lofty and there's things I like about Lofty, but there's things I don't like about Lofty. And so I feel like I have to supplement with different things. And if I want to get out of Lofty, it's a pain in the butt. Like it is a pain to get out of it because you have all these, oh great, here comes Scott Hack. You guys haven't met Scott, but he is the guy of building everything. This is gonna be great. This is might even not be the topic that we started with today, but anyway, is basically um yeah, just putting these things together and using the top things. Hey Scott, you joined at the perfect time. Um, Real quick, let me go through the chat here. If you create your own, I'm in. I don't want to go through another CRM change. It's Missy, I totally feel you. Scott actually, he's the one who got me thinking of this, got my brain kind of thinking that this is possible, right? Because he introduced me to Flute. I know some of my agents on the call are familiar with Flute. I've made a couple of resources for us that have been on Flute. It's basically a AI website builder or app builder. And I've made a couple, just kind of dabbled with it and really like it. But Scott's been building his own, um, but basically what your transaction management system slash brokerage backend slash whatever you want to call it. I don't know if Scott wants to share.
Yeah. I've been building a bunch of different things. Like I have like 28 projects that I've done in Flute.
Holy moly.
Um, like maybe 15, 16 of them are completed and they're in production and being used, and the other ones are just in various stages of being worked on. But my crown jewel, pride and joy, is what I call Filefox Pro,
Hmm.
and it's what we at the brokerage replace SkySlope with. So it really started with file compliance, and I realized that, and I'm sorry for being late, so I jumped on here, not sure where you're going with this, but I started realizing that once we started doing this and we started having data, we could do a lot of different things with the data. So then I started wanting to collect more data. And then once I had more data, I realized we could do even more with the data. So now we've really started implementing some client care pieces into it. So, like just as an example, I built out forms that when it's our listing, we push a button, the seller gets an email, and they update who their utility providers are. And that now data lives in the system. And then when we go under contract, they can push another button and it sends that to the buyer's agent to say, here's the utility providers the buyer needs to set up. So we're starting to collect anything that we're doing multiple times. We're trying to systemize and
Hmm.
bring that into it. Originally, it wasn't going to be like transaction management, and it's still not like kind of focused that way. But again, I couldn't unsee some of those efficiencies that we were able to bring.
Yeah, I love that. So I'm going to kind of bring this full circle because obviously this call is more directed towards us doing our equity snapshots, getting listings, right? But what holds you back from doing the equity snapshots? Just anybody here, and if you don't, well, let's start here. Does anybody not know what an equity snapshot is? If you don't know, just put in the chat or unmute yourself and say me, and I will give you the quick synopsis of what it is. Sounds like everybody's pretty familiar. Okay, great. So why aren't you delivering? Oh, Rashandra, is it Rashandra? Yeah, Rashandra. So you're not sure what an equity snapshot is. Perfect. I will tell you. An equity snapshot is an unsolicited home evaluation. That's the simplest way I can say it. It's almost like if you've heard of HomeBot, or these different services that will email people updated home values. That is similar to what an equity snapshot is. Some people, if you think from a consumer mindset, they check their equity where? Where do they go? They go to Zillow, they go to the Redfins, they go to these websites to check their equity. What we believe is as an agent who works based on referrals, based on relationships, based on building your circle of people, you need to be the advisor and the one who is giving them that data and making sure that you're staying top of mind with them so that they understand when they need to get that information that you're the source. Because we all know that Zillow is not accurate. I just did a snapshot for somebody yesterday on Zoom, and the Zillow was off by $40,000. And so we came in 40,000 higher for their value than what Zillow says. And I think it was like 45,000 higher than Redfin. So that's what an equity snapshot is. It's pretty simple. How is it delivered? You can deliver it in person. You can deliver it on Zoom. You can send it in the mail. You can send an email. You can send an email with a video. You can do a video walkthrough. Really, however you want to deliver it. I used to be really strict on how to deliver it. And now I'm like, I don't care. Just get it done, right? I just want to see us get them done because equity snapshots lead to listings. Because when you give somebody an equity snapshot, it leads them to listings, but the equity snapshot alone isn't what does that. If just knowing your home value is what led to listings, then everybody that went to Zillow would list their house, right? What happens in your equity snapshot is the information that you give and that you have this give and take with a person. And that to me is where the power is when you deliver it in person or by phone or walk them through it on a Zoom or something like that. But if you can't do that, and you want to mail them. And this was the challenge my husband gave me because he said, listen, I would be better if I could just mail them and then I can do a follow-up phone call. And I said, okay, well, if we're going to mail them, I want them to really provide good information. I want it to be valuable. And so I've been working on, you guys know my goal. One of my goals this week was to create an equity snapshot template. But now I'm sitting here and I'm thinking as we're talking about these websites and stuff and the AI portion, what if we could Here's what I would like. You guys tell me what you think. I would like to be able to go onto a website. Right now, I use my chat GPT. I have a GPT set up where I can take MLS data, I can download it in the GPT, and I'll share it with you guys if anybody wants to play around with it. You can download your Excel spreadsheet from your comps that you pull on the MLS. You put them in there, you put your property information, any updates, any information you know about the property, and it will spit out for you data. It'll just like Scott was talking about. It takes the data, it tells you approximately what the property's worth, and you can have it give you a little like consumer facing. It's nothing fancy. It's literally just white paper with black writing on it, but at least it gives you a little something to go by. It gives you some information that you can use and pull into, say, Canva and make it prettier or whatever. But as we were all talking, I'm like, wouldn't it be really cool if we could create a website around this where you can put that data into a website or something and have it spit out your equity snapshot for you? I don't know. I'm just kind of putting that out there. I just feel like there's nothing off limits anymore. Like if you can dream it up, you could probably do it. I don't know. But I just get back to what we were talking about with the equity snapshots. What do you think holds you guys back the most from doing it? I want this to be collaborative. It's not about Alicia talking the whole time. Just I hear my voice enough. So maybe we should start with who wants to do them. Do you guys see the value in it?
I actually do them. I do two a week. That's what I can squeeze in right now. And I actually email them. And I can, like I said, I use Follow Up Boss. I can see if they open the email, but I make sure that it's a touch point. So I'll email it to them, but I'll send a text as well, like after I send the email, and then I'll follow up with the phone call. So, I mean, I send them past clients. There's like some friends, SOI. So I do send them. Sometimes there might be a week where I'm not gonna say I forget. I just don't do it because I have so many other things on my plate, but I do them. And it actually, I mean, I haven't gotten listings recently from them, but it puts me back on like top of mind. And I just received a referral for a listing from someone. I guess she just remembered I existed, even though I sold a house or two for her before. But I didn't get, I just sent her the equity snapshot, but she also sent me a referral for a listing. So I feel like it helps show them, okay, this is what you have, this is the equity you have, this is what your home is worth. But also that touch point allows me to get back on, top of mind so they can remember who I am.
Karsha, would you mind sharing your email template or what you use to send?
Yeah.
That would be great. You can email it to me. I'll put my email
Oh,
in the
okay.
chat, and you can just email it to me, and I can take out anything personal. So,
Okay. Sure.
yeah, I feel like sometimes it's the how that really gets people kind of stuck. Scott said, I find doing CMAs exhausting, so I don't do them unsolicited. Interesting. Now, I will have a little talk with you about that. I don't consider a equity snapshot necessarily a CMA, but I do know, I mean, I do see your point because you do have to go into the MLS and at least pull some data. And if you don't like doing that, that can be a pain. But somebody could do that for you, Scott.
That would require me to trust other people.
We're getting to the real nitty gritty, right? Don't you guys find that that's one of the biggest problems with most of us agents is we just don't think anybody else can do it as good as we can, right? And part of that's probably true, or the way we want it. Anyone else? Are you doing your equity snapshots faithfully? If not, what's holding you back?
I think what Scott just said is, finding someone that you trust when you're putting your name on something, and talking, the last thing that you want to do is you send out an equity snapshot to somebody that shows $40,000 higher than what Zillow or 45,000 higher than Redfin, and then send it out. And then they call you because they're like super excited. And then you show up and you're like, yeah, might be more like 20.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I mean, that's hard. And I understand where Scott's coming from with the statement of I don't trust somebody else to do it. Because I mean, when I do them, it takes a lot for me. And I'm doing a lot of diving in and deep digging and research to just identify some of that stuff. So I get that concept of it, but there is an easier way. I love the way I do them, and they are super easy. They're very accurate, but at the same time, yeah, it just I get where he's coming from with the trust issue. So
Well, here, well, I'll let Shannon go. I saw you unmuted. You go ahead, Shannon.
Well, I was just gonna say for me, I have to be in the right mood. That sounds really dumb, but because I don't mind doing them, but it's just I can always find other things to do, I guess. And usually if I'm gonna do them, I do them in a batch. Like I kind of get in a rhythm. So like I did that last summer. I got into like the month of July, I think it was. I'm like, this is what I'm doing. And I mail mine.
Mm-hmm.
And I do that because I like to put a gift card in them. Like I'll put in a 15 or $20 gift card for and I write a little handwritten note and I'm just like, hey, this is an update on your property, have lunch on me. So I like to do a little bit more than just like if I'm going to put the time into it, right? Like I want to make it memorable. Or um, and I had several people reach back out that were like, that was such a fun surprise. And so I do like to do that. Um, I saw Karsha's comment. I have not had good luck with RPR. I probably need to take the training through our MLS. But for me, I don't know. And I don't know if it's because when I look at it, it's when I'm getting ready to write an offer on a property and I'm like, that ain't right. But that could just be, I'm also very judgy. So there's that. But I haven't had good fortune with RPR. Um, but in a
Okay.
subdivision, urban, it's probably fine. But
Good point. So, things I've heard is concerned about the value not being accurate, being, prepared mentally to do them. Um, what else? Anybody else want to add
I
to? Go
I was
ahead.
just going to add to tag on what Shannon said. I had a person that I sold him a house back in like 2019 or 2018. I forget what year it was. And I hadn't heard from them for the entire time. I was like, and I'm sending them newsletters and I'm sending them from your friends. And then it went to Lolo. And I mean, they weren't even looking at my text messages or anything. And I was just so worried about that. And it turns out when I did the equity snapshot, put that together, I delivered it. I hand delivered it, and it was a road trip, but I did it anyway. It was out in Mount Sterling, and when I did that, I put a $50 gift card in there. And I know the family, I know that they need help with their little ones because they have some issues, health issues. So I just threw it in there and said, hey guys, go to dinner on me. I just wanted to bless you. And I've been trying to reach you and I hope everything's going okay. And that was all I did. And oh my gosh, you would have thought that I just became their absolute best friend and all the information I needed got updated. The phone number was wrong. That was why they weren't responding to any of my text messages. So, I mean, it just, so whoever was that phone number, they were getting something. That's all I'm going to say. But it's just interesting to me that that gift card spoke more volumes, I think, even than the equity snapshot. So it was a good way to do it. So I like that option.
Okay. Anyone else want to add?
I do want to add something if
Yeah,
no
go
one
ahead.
else. Okay. So I actually only send that first page from RPR. And then I asked them, do you want to see the full report? And so then I'm like, okay, then I could put the full report over. So I don't know. And Shannon, I know you said you haven't had luck with RPR, but I found that for me, it's easier to use RPR than my MLS for CMAs. And so I just send that one page. It kind of gets them, oh, I have equity in my house. Yeah, I want to see the full report. And so they actually respond. That's how you kind of get back in there. So I don't actually manipulate the report at all.
I
Yeah.
think then sending something is better than sending nothing. Like
Hmm.
that is definitely a stance that I think works. Because then even with the way you're doing it, if they reach out, and you decide to dive deeper, depending on who it is or what the property is, and you find out it is a little like you can have that conversation and be like, "Hey, I did a deep dive. Turns out I find RPRs low. It's not that that it's just completely bonkers. I just find that it's usually low. And so that's a good thing. Like, hey, I did a little bit deeper dive and I actually even think that this opinion's a bit low. Especially, I mean, we all know some of the clients were like, y'all don't clean your house. And then others were like, I'd eat off your floor. I mean, so there's that, and RPR is not going to know that. That's just something we know. But yeah, it's definitely better than doing nothing, 110%. So, and if it gets them to respond to you, then you're doing the right thing anyway.
Stacy, I saw you on mute. Did you want to add something?
I was actually just going to agree with Karsha that I send that first page out to people as a snapshot, and it does get the conversation going. I actually like RPR, and Shannon and I are in the same MLS. um, I don't know what you're doing wrong, Shannon, girl, but no, I'm just teasing. But no, I like RPR, and I think that it is a good resource to send out, get people talking, get them calling you back, and just to get the conversation going.
I'm gonna ask you guys a couple questions just to challenge maybe some of the mindsets that you might be dealing with. Do you think that when a client goes to Zillow, they think that's accurate?
More oftentimes than not, yes.
Okay.
Oh yeah, definitely. They'll even tell you, well, Zillow said this.
Mhm. What
If
do
they're
you
if they're a past client of mine, not necessarily because I've already told them Zillow's wrong.
Yeah, it depends
Yeah,
on
I mean, if we've worked together before and it hasn't been usually a value on their own, like if we're working together, for a purchase, and they're like, well, Zillow, I'm like, we ain't going off Zillow to make your offer. Sorry
Mhm.
about your luck. But
And I mean, when it comes to the value not being accurate piece, the couple I was talking about, I actually walked their house, so I just seen it. So that's a little bit of a different situation. But here's what you have to think about. Do any of you get like a home bot for your own home? Are you on a list where you get like the email that they send out from like your lender or somebody? Karsha says yes. Hi, Carla, welcome. So I get those, and I don't look at it and think, oh, that's wrong or that's right. Homebot and fellow somehow. You're on somebody's list, Scott. Um, I don't look at those and think, oh, that's what my house is selling for. And I think that we think, yes, when we sit down with people, they like the Zillow's estimate, especially if it's a good amount, right? But in my experience, I also find that a lot of times Zillow's a little low. Um, and so, at least in our market, it could be different anywhere. But when it comes to the snapshot, I think we have to reframe why we're sending it and what the purpose of it is. And I think Karsha hit it on the head. It's to start a conversation, right? If you email or mail out your report, first of all, if your report only takes you 5 minutes, you go into RPR, you print it out, you put a cover letter, you send an email, and it's a template email or something that you've created that you like, and you send that out. It's first of all, the barrier is a lot lower. But if you couple that with a text message or a phone call, here's one way you can do it. Hey, and this is something I've done before. Hey, I was in your neighborhood and I drove by the house. It looks great. Like this is things that trigger me to do an equity snapshot for somebody. Your house, I saw that you put a fence up, you did some stuff. I thought I would just pull up. We have a system that we can pull up and just give you a quick snapshot. I haven't dug into this, right? Like you can just disclose to them, I'm just sending this to you real quick. But if you want me to do a deeper dive, or if you guys are thinking of doing repairs, or if you're thinking of accessing your equity for investment, or if you're thinking of, right, you're putting thoughts in their head of things that you're trying to identify maybe where their thinking is, then I definitely should do a deeper dive with you, maybe even walk through the house and give you a good estimate. That's it. We are overcomplicating things so much. Like just think about, I thought about you, I pulled this real quick. I didn't spend a ton of time. You can be honest with them. I didn't sit here and spend a ton of time doing this, but I just thought about you and I thought maybe, it's been a while since I've sent you over anything about your house, right? That's really all that you have to do. It doesn't have to be accurate to the point. As long as you're disclosing to them, this was real quick. I just pulled it up. I just realized a lot of people this time of year are thinking about what they might do to their house this year. And maybe you are thinking about moving. I don't know, right? But you don't even have to approach them from the aspect of moving. You can approach them from the aspect of, I mean, Mark and I are looking at doing some improvements to our house this year, right? Maybe they need a home equity line. Maybe there's kids going to college or something. Who knows what's going on in their life? But the whole point is that the purpose of it is to open up the conversation so that you do know what's going on in their life, so that you can help them through that, however way you can with the expertise that you bring to the table. Zillow doesn't do that, guys. Zillow says, here's what we think your house is worth. Click here to talk to somebody. Click here to do this. They're trying to lead capture. They're not trying to walk your client through life. And I feel like that's where our value's at as their advisors. Shannon, no, but I'm on one for rental property value for my primary. That's interesting. I haven't heard of that. Right now, the value difference between Zillow and RPR on my primary is 22,000, RPR being higher. Which one do you agree with? I'm curious.
Well, I actually think RPR is low, but not by much. It's not low by much.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm wrong because I just don't know enough about how these programs do their algorithms and stuff. But like, for example, my house, we bought it bank owned.
Mm-hmm.
So they have no idea how much money we have put in this
Right.
house,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like they're basing it off of an average condition with everything else in our neighborhood. So when I say that I don't think RPR is the most accurate, it's not that I think they're like super wrong. I just think that there's things as people, like, if I've seen my client put a new roof on their house on Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
RPR doesn't know that. That's more where I'm at. Like, I don't think it's like terribly wrong,
Yeah.
But
I think
I
there's just
think in
room
this,
for adjustment.
I
Go ahead,
guess
Stacey.
my question then for you, Shannon, is in my opinion, I think that's cool when you're doing like a deep dive, like if you're getting ready to list a property, but
Mhm.
for I guess the purposes of sending out the equity snapshot or what your
Mhm.
house is worth conversation, I don't think we would ever really know um if a client put a new roof on or whatever improvements they made because it's supposed to be unsolicited, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I guess the way I'm thinking about it is because a lot of my clients in the past, not necessarily in the last 18 months, but the ones that bought in like, let's say 18, 19, bought properties that needed work, right? So I know they've done something. So I just don't know how much value, some of these things add to that. And maybe they do. I don't know how they work,
So
but
what would be
um,
if, and this is a great conversation because I think that we all have things we think we should be doing, but for some reason we're not doing them. And these
mhm,
are the kind of that we have to have that honest conversation of like what we really think about that particular um, activity, and if it's
mhm,
something that fits with us or not. But here's what I would say: the number one thing that most, I mean, would you guys all say we're in real estate every day? We think about house values all the time.
yes,
How much time do you think your client's really spending about thinking about their house value?
they don't
And
until their neighbor's house goes up for sale.
till the neighbor's house goes up for sale, or until they need to sell,
Yeah.
or until they need a home equity line or something like that. And worse off, this is how bad it is. And this is what's triggered me to make this a priority this year. And I know some of you have heard this, some of you haven't. Last year, we found out two people in our database that we have followed up with for years, done all the things, conversations, note cards, done our whole, spiel with, other than the equity snapshots, because we have not been great at doing them. One of them sold, actually, both of them ended up selling to cash companies that bought their properties. One of them sold 50,000 below market value. The other one sold 100,000. below market value. Why do you think that happens? And what do you think? Do you think the chances of them, even if their homes weren't in the top market value and my market value was wrong, I guarantee you I would have done better than 50 or 100,000 on the table, leaving that on the table. So I would have rather have sent them a wrong estimate. And when I walk through their home, say, you know what, you obviously know there's some deferred maintenance here. So that estimate's going to come down. I feel like that's a logical thing. People know, like, well, even though she hasn't been in my home, just like you're saying, Shannon, you haven't been in my home. You don't know that I've done these improvements. Is the same thought somebody's going to have. Well, you haven't been in my home. You know that you don't know that I have this deferred maintenance. So what if you had something in there that addressed that? Like, what if we're communicating this to people when we send it out? Hey, I know that you've probably done some things I don't know about, or maybe you're in a hard time and there's some things that you just can't afford to get done in your home right now. I want you to know that I'm here to assist you with that. And if you need me to come out and give you a true estimate, and you can share my story, say, because one of my agent friends found out that a client sold their house and left $100,000 on the table. And I do not want any of my clients to ever experience that if you don't have to. Because to me, that's the true conviction of why you need to do it. It is because we think from our real estate brain and we say, they don't really need that. It's not accurate. It's showing that I'm not great at what I do. Or we think of all the negative stuff, but I'm telling you, all it does is it shows them somebody's giving me information. Somebody's willing to continue to give me information, even if I'm not working with them, even if I'm not a sale for them, even if I'm not any of these things. And I think that all of our people really do need someone like that in their corner. Would you guys agree or disagree with that? Yeah, Shannon, open door advertisements. I mean, it's rampant. It's rampant that what's happening. And so we need to get out of our head and our own way and our perfectionism, and we need to help our people the best way that we can, not to leave money on the table. I'm not going to ever tell those people that they left on the table, because some of them we still talk to, and it is what it is. But I'm not going to go up and tell them, hey man, you left 50 grand on the table. I'm not going to do that, because they obviously trusted that source and thought that whatever they were offering was good, or they wouldn't have taken it. They wouldn't have taken that. The other example I have, and luckily my mom referred this lady to me, she had an inherited home. Her brother was blind and lived there for years. Imagine what a blind person's house looked like that does not have people come in and clean. Somebody offered them 145,000. She's like, that's probably the best I'm going to get. And they were in a pretty decent area in Plain City. Some of you don't know where that is here, but it's a decent area on an acre, a ranch house. Yes, it had foundation problems. It needed totally redone. We set her up with an auction company, and she ended up selling that place for 240,000. Sometimes we have to share these stories with people, because it's imagine if she would have sold that for the 140s. No, and she didn't know. She doubted me the whole time. She's like, I don't know if you're really gonna be able to do this. I said, trust me, just trust me. It's gonna be fine. And when it sold, she sat at the closing and cried. She's like, you put $100,000 more in my grandbaby's pockets. That's what it's about. She could have left that money on the table and not helped her grandkids and not helped her son and her daughter. You know what I mean? So we need to get out of our own way, guys. Like, just do it. Just do it. If there's places that you are like, I really feel like I need to explain, I really feel like I need to tell them, like, make a video. Just make a blanket video that says, hey, I wanted to give you guys your snapshot. I just want to let you know a few things. If you have questions about this is just really quick, but here's why I'm doing these this year, is because I've been seeing people leaving money on the table. This is money that should go to your family. This is money that should go to your future, your kids' college, whatever goals you have in your life. And I refuse to let anyone that I have helped or in contact with do this. So I'm always your resource, whether you sell or not. I care about you, whatever. Just do whatever you want to do, right? But get rid of the barrier for yourself as much as possible, and just send some stuff and see what happens. Make a few phone calls, see what happens. Because we can talk ourselves out of it all day long, but I feel a personal responsibility now after seeing two people that we know that could left really life-changing money on the table for them. And I know these people's lives. It would have definitely been a good thing for them to have that money in their pocket and not be struggling. So, I'm guessing the root of my issue with RPR is my control freak nature. Yeah, I think all of us have a little bit of that. I don't think you can be a real estate agent and not have a little bit of a control problem. A good one, anyway. And I know if you're showing up here today, you're a good one because you want to learn and you want to be good and you want to do the best you can. So, um, I I'm on the fence about the whole template thing. I will say what I do want to template is I want to template, and because one of the things I talked about is this week is creating a template around this. And when I say template, I mean like Canva, like something that looks nice, something that looks pretty. But I'm changing my mind about it a little bit because I think that that just makes another barrier, right? It makes another hoop that I have to jump through in order to get it done. And I kind of like Karsha's approach of just sending that front page of the RPR, putting together a little letter. And then I think what I'm going to do is put together like a static flyer that talks about the different things you can do with your equity so that wherever they fall in those boxes, and I'll show you guys an example. I downloaded one off of Etsy and I'm going to bring it up here. I'm not saying I'm going to use everything that she has in here. And I don't know why. You guys, Zoom, I don't know what happened with Zoom. I feel like they updated some stuff, and now when I go to share, it doesn't give me all my options like it used to. But that's okay. We'll figure it out. So I really liked what she put together here. 7 smart ways to use your home equity. Now, there's some things in here I might change, but I like this as maybe a supplemental page to send with the equity snapshot, right? Is it upgrades, investments, learning, consolidating debt, home improvements, fund retirement, start a business? These are all things that I think, outside of selling their home, these are all things that could be a really good use of people's equity in their homes. And a lot of people have a lot of equity right now. And maybe they're not using it the way that they should be using it. So maybe you send something like this with your snapshot and say, hey, here's if you haven't thought about ways that you could use your equity, put it to use for you. Maybe there's some things on your list that you want to do. If you're not planning to move for the next 5 or 7 years and you love your home, but you want to do an upgrade to the kitchen or bathrooms, did you know? And guess what? Guess who's their resource for that? If you need a couple of companies for if you want to get my list of who I recommend for a HELOC, give me a call. I'll put you in contact with people. If you need contractors, give me a call, right? Are you looking to invest in rental property or maybe Airbnbs? Call Shannon, right? Your short-term rental girl. I mean, like whatever it might be. If you're looking to start a business and you need office space, guess what? Call Missy. She's your commercial girl, right? So this is an opportunity for you to continue to connect them with trustworthy places as well, that they can get the stuff done that they really want to do. One thing I do like that Larry Kendall, I think this is a Larry Kendall thing. He said, if you can make other people's dreams come true, if your goal is once you find out what your clients' dreams are, so when we have conversations with clients, we should be asking them what things they want to accomplish in life. What's one thing they'd really love to do they haven't done yet? We should be asking them those things. And when they share them, I'm not as good at this as my husband, I will admit, but he remembers that stuff. And when he sees something, he's like, hey, you mentioned you wanted to go on an Alaskan cruise. I noticed da da da, you should check it out. Right. And he connects people in that way. And that just takes things to a whole nother level with your clients because it shows them that you really listened and that you care about what makes them happy and what's going to get them to their goals. What do you guys think of adding a sheet like that to your equity snapshot? Maybe
just added that to my to-do list.
did you? Good. I liked, and you know what else I'm adding? I'm adding a sheet on are you getting cash offer calls? I'm adding a sheet on that as well. So that might
be one.
Yeah, and it's going to be centered around people that are going through hardship. So are you going through a hardship? Are you finding that you're really struggling keeping the house together or repairs? I want you to know I'm a safe space. There's no judgment with me. My whole goal is to always make sure that you are living in a safe home and that you can afford it. And if you ever find that you're in that position where you can't, we want to help you, right? We have a background in short sales, investments, and all those types of things. Can you send a link, that specific one? Yeah, I'm going to share everything I show on here. I share. I'll probably overshare. I'm going to share the whole template that I got from the lady on Etsy into the group, so you guys can dissect it and you'll be able to copy it into your Canva. Um, but yeah, we're adding one on that. We're adding the one about how to use your equity. And I think that's it. I think those are the only two things we're going to add. And outside of that, we're thinking about doing a static video that just goes out to everyone. We might change it per season, like every quarter. But I think that's what we're going to do with ours because Mark plans to email or mail them. And then I think we're also going to text as well and tell them we sent it and the reason behind why we're sending it. Um, and that'll be received well from most of our people because we do stay in contact with our people a lot and they're used to seeing us do those types of things. But if you're new to it, you might want to just baby step, right? You baby step into what you feel comfortable is your next step, especially if there are people you haven't talked to in a long time, or maybe you don't have that close relationship with. But steal my story, share it. Say, hey, I know that it's strange I'm doing this. I've never done this before, but this is what another agent I know went through. And I really felt it was important for me to make sure you understand, where you stand. So I think people will definitely resonate with that. Anybody else have anything that they add to theirs that they want to share? Can you send a link? Okay, I said I love the flyer idea. Awesome, awesome. Scott, did we change your mind at all today? Did we convert you in any way, shape, or form? I don't know if you're unmuting or not. Did he put something? I might do outreach and let people know I can do it, but still, I like that too. That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea at all. That's a great way to kind of step yourself into it. It's kind of like, when I first heard about writing note cards, I was like, that's weird. And Mark used to think he'd be like, that's weird. He was very adverse to doing it. He's like, that's weird. A guy writing a note card, like that's weird. But we went to a ninja installation and he just heard so many good things about it. He's like, okay, I'm going to try this note card thing. Like, I'm going to try it. It seems like people really are crazy about this idea. And I think he wrote his first note card in 2018. And then he did it for about a month and he got a call from one of the guys he wrote a note card to. And the guy was literally holding back tears on the phone. And Mark goes, dude, are you okay? And he goes, I'm fine. He goes, look, man, I know this is strange. And I don't know what prompted you to write me that note card. He goes, but it's exactly what I needed today. And he goes, what's going on, man? What's going on? And so the guy kind of shared with him like what was happening and how that note card really brightened his day and how it just was so unexpected. And he was really just a lot of deep things going on. And Mark hung up the phone and he looked at me and he goes, I see why I write them. I get it. I get it. That man now, if we are out of note cards, it's like, hey, I'm low on note cards. I'm low on note cards. I'm low. I mean, like he was badgering me for 2 weeks, but my old note card, the note card cafe is no longer a site. So you guys know I used to push that all the time. And so we had to try to find some new note cards that he liked. And I think we have, I mean, they're okay. I'm still not totally convinced with the ones we have, but it's what we got. But he has made it his own thing. And I will tell you, I think it's the main reason why he gets all the business he gets is from these daggone note cards. And here's the one. He now prints out these little comics and makes copies and puts them inside of his note card. I feel like it's like an old Floyd Wickman thing or something. Anybody who's been in real estate a long time. I'm like, this is so cheesy, but it's him. It's his personality. And it says on here, oh yeah, nobody tells me what to do. And it says after completing his assertiveness training course, Larry faces his first test and he's pushing on a pool door. All right. And it's just something really corny, something really, but that's my husband. He's kind of corny, a little bit silly, a little bit crazy. Um, and he also is the guy that posts funny memes on Facebook. He rarely posts anything of any value about anything real estate, but he'll post something funny or a question or something every day almost. And so it kind of goes along with his MO, right? And now you can't stop him from doing it. I feel like these equity snapshots are going to be the same thing for us. I feel like we've just had to get over the hump of the mental block around it and just do it. And we'll see how that pays off, right? We'll see, give it 90 days. As I always tell you, just give it 90 days. Karsha's laughing. Give it 90 days and see what happens. What's the worst that happens? Somebody says, well, that's not right. And be like, you know what? It might not be right. Let's do a right one for you. Let me do one that's better for you, right? Anyone else? Karsha sent me her email. So I think I could share this, Karsha. I don't see anything too personal in here. If you don't mind, I'll share my screen and share it. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, that's fine. And
Okay.
then the property is actually one of my rentals now. So I actually
Oh,
did that, but I had to re-download it.
oh, okay. So here's just the email that she sends. Look how easy this is. Just reaching out because I have been sending quick home value updates to a few of my past clients. I wanted to include you too. Based on recent sales and current market activity, the estimate is around 319, 992. Attached is a short report showing the value, and if you would like, I can send you a full report with more details. Just reply report. I like that. And I will get it right over to you. I included the first 2 pages of the RPR report. First page is a picture of the home, my information, second page. So this is just something you wrote in for me. Um, and then this is all she sends. Nice. Very simple, very basic. Love it. I can do that, Karsha. I feel like I could do that today.
I feel like downloading takes longer than than anything. It's
Yes,
like 5 minutes.
love it. I can definitely do that today. So I'm going to share that with Mark too and see what he thinks. And I'm still going to work on my pages to add to it, because I want to make sure I'm putting that out there, and we might add our personal story to one of them. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what we feel like we should do. But has this helped you guys at all? Rashandra, I know Karsha invited you today. Um, does this help you guys at all? Carla says yes, thumbs up. I do too, Shannon. I like hearing what others do. Absolutely. Good, good, good. Now, let me ask you just one question before we leave today. Good. I'm glad you're learning. Do you think that doing these equity snapshots can help you to curate more listings in your business? And if so, why? Referrals? Yep. It's another touch. Yep.
The conversation starter.
Yep.
Like, if they're out talking with their neighbors while they shovel a foot of snow, and they've gotten one of these, and the neighbor's complaining about shoveling, and they're like, I should move to Florida, which if you're not in Ohio, I think all of us have thought that in the last 7 days. Then, you know, that's, hey, I just got this from my agent, and this is what they said, you
hmm
know. So I almost
Maybe we
think
should add a
cover
second
the whole
home on
thing.
that ways to use your equity. Maybe having a second property or something like that should be added to it.
That's my first contract of 2026 is a second home.
Yep. I'm adding
Granted,
that to my notes.
yeah, granted it's an Indian Lake and that's frozen solid right now, but
They're looking forward to the
they're
future,
still
Shannon.
excited. They're still calling about boat docks. I'm like, right now you could play hockey out there, but yeah. So
Chandra
I
says,
think that's your conversation starter.
yeah. Rashonda says, yes, I think it gets people curious and wanting more details. Carla says, adds value differentiates them from other agents. Yeah, absolutely. And I think too, if you are really if you're really a person who's dedicated to working your sphere and drawing more leads and more new opportunities out of that, one way to do that is to understand what's happening with the people in your sphere. And so anytime you can have that conversation or anytime you can present them with information that lets them see you differently than what they might, like I've had people, they're like, "Oh, you invest? Are you invested?" And a lot of them didn't know me when I was investing in real estate full time all the time and that I taught classes on it. Like I don't go around and say, "Hey, I'm an investor. I taught class," right? But when they learn that, they're like, "Oh, I didn't know you did that. Can you help me?" I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely. What do you need to know? Who do you need to be connected with? Are you familiar with this? Are you familiar with that?" And so a lot of times people just don't know what we know. So it's good that we can put out there like, hey, these are some areas I can help people. If you know somebody going through a short sale, if you know somebody behind on their mortgage, if you want a cash offer, this is one of the things that we're going to put in ours is we're adding the ability for us to have cash offers for them. I know plenty of people, myself included, who, if it was the right deal, I'd pay cash for a property, right? So why not get a cash offer from someone you know, like, and trust other than another company, an open door or something like that? Or if they're considering it, say, look, if you've been, and this could be a whole separate reach out outside of doing the equity snapshot. You could just let people know, hey, if you're being approached by an open door or something like that, I just want you to know, as your trusted real estate advisor, I'm here to help walk you through that. Don't feel like you're doing me a disservice by contacting me and asking me questions about these things because I would hate for you to be taken advantage of or for you to leave money on the table. And let people know you're there for them in that way.
One thing I thought about yesterday, and I think I'm going to make my kids do it with me today, um, is my son, we went to Kohl's. And when you drive to Kohl's in Westerville, you drive through like a 1950s brick ranch neighborhood.
Hmm.
And the amount of unplowed driveways. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, it's Wednesday. If they haven't plowed by now, they're either, well, I said vacant. My son's first comment was they're elderly. But I was like, either
Maybe.
way. So I think I'm going to drive those neighborhoods or that particular neighborhood because I wouldn't mind investing there
Hmm.
or potentially doing a flip. But I'm like, that's a
That's a
great
great
sign.
idea. I got
So
my little ranch neighborhood over here in Reynoldsburg I want us to target. That's a great idea, Shannon.
yeah, look for the unplowed driveways and make your
Or where
unwilling
you don't
child
see
write
any
down the house
footsteps
number.
going up and, back and forth or something.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's a great little hack. All right. Well, I would be remiss if I don't push real quick. Scott Hack has an event coming up in March that Mark and I are going to. I've shared it with my team and my people. I don't know if any of you have had a chance to check it out, but it's called Real Estate Distilled. This will be my third one, I think, this year, Scott. It's just realestatedistilled.com, right?
Yep.
All right. But huge value. What I really like about, I mean, I like going to real estate conferences and events, but what I really like about Scott, why I keep coming back to yours, one, it's close to me. It's in Kentucky. That's great. But I would travel even farther because of the quality of people that I've met through there and been connected with over the years, that I have actually stayed in contact with after the event has been awesome. No, this one's in Kentucky. It's in Louisville. Do you say Louisville? Not
Louisville.
Louisville. I gotta say it like Louisville. It's just like, is that even a syllable? Just one? Louisville.
Yeah. Yeah, you got slurred all together.
Just slur it all together. It's kind of like we have places here. We've got like Newark or it's Newark. If you're from
Yeah.
Newark, if where you live, Newark. There's no, yeah.
The Convention of Visitor Bureaus has a sign in their window, and it's like Louisville, like pronounced like seven ways, because that's like all the ways that people like try to figure it out. So
Yeah. Well, it's a great event. It's really reasonable too, price wise, and just a wonderful, great group of people. They have some great speakers. Your breakout sessions are nice. The other nice thing about your event is that there isn't a lot of like pushing of upsells and all that different stuff too, which I truly do appreciate because I really walk away with like meat and potatoes. So I'm plugging your event. Thanks
I appreciate
for,
it.
yeah, no problem. I hope maybe, and if any of you on the call come, let me know you're coming and we will make sure to meet up. That's one of the other things we always do is we try to meet up and have dinner and do things when we're there together. So it's a lot of fun. Thank you for posting that. I don't know if did I post the wrong one? Hopefully I didn't. But um,
It's HTTPS, not www.
oh, thank you. You
Mhm.
know, I'm an original internet girl here. It was www. But yeah, check it out. And if any of my team members want to go, let me know. We'll do a caravan down there and have a good time. So um, awesome. Well, guys, thank you for showing up today. I will be posting a video of this into the school group, and then we'll also um, have in the link all of the resources and links to everything. I might put it in the classroom so that you guys can just go in there and get it. So I'll send this over, and my admin will get it up in there for us here. Hopefully, within the next 24 hours, we should have it up for you guys. But everybody have a great one, and I look forward to hearing some feedback on how you've done a better job getting your equity snapshots out here starting in February. Everyone have a great one. Bye, guys.